What is going on, guys? It's Karen. Today we're going to have a video that's going to be a little bit different than the usual. Today we're going to go over how to successfully pull off a lurk. Now, lurking is super important, especially the higher in rank that you go. And not only do you have to learn how to do it successfully, but you have to learn how to defend against it as well. Lurking is super important. It's going to be an important aspect on anybody's list of things they want to master whenever they want to be better at Valorant. So today we're going to go over an example here on Breeze. Now, I do go over this a little bit quicker on my TikTok. If you guys aren't following me on TikTok, I'll link that down below. I pretty much do a lot of the same stuff that I do here on YouTube. I post clips and guides and stuff like that, but I do it in a more bite-sized video, I guess you can say. So if you're into that, go check that out. Okay, so today we're going to go over a lurk on Cypher. Now, we're going to say we're on Breeze here, right? And our team is here on the A-bomb side, right? So our team's going A. We're going to try to pull off a lurk, either up mid or up elbow, depending on, you know, what kind of agents we're going up against and all that, which you do have to take into consideration, for example. But we'll go over that a little bit later, right? So our team is going A here, and we want to lurk. Now, usually when I'm Cypher and I lurk, whenever my team's going A, I'll go into elbow, and I'll try to play off them, right? Now, one of the main things you want to remember when you are lurking is that you don't want to push too early. You don't want to give any kind of info that you're in that area until your team pushes. If you get picked out too early, not only do you give the enemy team info, but your team's going to be a man down, and it's going to be really hard for them to do anything once you're dead, right? So they're kind of relying on you. It's kind of a selfish play to lurk, but it can really turn around if you do it correctly, right? So I'm going up elbow here. I'm going to remember that I'm going to wait right here, right? People can peek me here, right? People can peek B and get information off that. If I'm here and somebody peeks me from this side, then that's over. They're going to know I'm there, and that's going to ruin the entire lurk. So I'm going to wait here for like 2 seconds, see if I can get any kind of info, any kind of information using sound, or maybe I'll hear somebody spray something, you know, just stuff like that. Try to get information like that. I'm going to wait for my team to try to put pressure on the A-bomb side here. So say they put pressure, Viper walls up, these guys enter. And now is going to be the moment of truth, because I have to learn to use audio to my advantage, especially when you play on this map. B is really close, so you can most likely hear people rotating off. So what I want to do is I want to work my way elbow, and I want to wait. I want to wait right here. Now, why am I waiting here? Why am I not pushing out whenever my team is making info? Why am I not, you know, showing myself trying to get a kill or trying to catch somebody off guard? Okay, you want to use sound to your advantage. Whenever you hear anybody rotating, whenever you hear anybody moving, whenever you hear anybody running, reloading, whatever, that is info that you have that they don't have on you. So you want to take advantage of that. Usually this is how people play. We'll have one nest, maybe one on B. If you guys make a bunch of noise on A, these guys are going to rotate this way, and this guy's going to go this way, right? So say, for example, Cypher dies, and your team pushes in, they get more, we can take this dude out, and they take advantage, right? This guy might either die, or he might go back and try to play retake with this guy, right? So this guy is going to leave and try to help the people on the A-bomb side, usually through here, so you won't really catch him. But the person tunnel, a lot of the times, will try to clear this mid door by running down and pinching it this way, right? They're going to try to clear all this over here to make sure that they're not getting lurked on. Whenever you hear this running, that's when you can go out and peek. But don't peek it right as they run through here, because a lot of good players will run, but they'll peek this little angle, right? They'll look for lurkers, especially the higher in rank that you go. So you want to wait till you pass him. He's going to be too busy clearing some of this, and that's when you can go and get the kill. You want to use audio as best as you possibly can, because that's what's going to make the big difference between a good lurk and a bad lurk. Now, here's what can happen if you do it incorrectly, right? Say your team is pushing in, or say your team is right here, right? Say they haven't pushed in completely, right? They're just waiting. Cypher's not dead yet, and these guys are just chilling here, right? And say you're here. Say they're putting pressure on A, but not enough pressure to the point where they can call a full rotate on the enemy team, right? You peek out here, you die to Sky. Sky kills you, and guess what? Your team's not inside yet. You're already a man down. They know that you're probably lurking. You know, if you see a Cypher across the map while while your team is pushing another side, people are going to know that you're lurking, okay? So they know that most of you are probably going to be A. You could be defaulting, but, you know, people will catch on. You know, people aren't dumb. So you die early and you lose. You pretty much lose the team for your. You pretty much lose the round for your team, because your team is then forced to push in. Whenever you die early like this, your team has to take the advantage, right? So you're pretty much forcing them to enter site and try to get site before these guys rotate and stop them entirely, right? So you're pretty much forcing a fight, and the enemy team knows that, right? Whenever they kill a lurker, say across the map, and I'm defending, for example, and they kill an enemy Cypher all the way in elbow, I know that these guys are going to try to rush as soon as possible because they need to take that fight. If they don't, they're going to have a man down if these guys rotate. So they're going to try to take that fight. And you're going to be telegraphing the enemy team. If you die as a lurker, you're going to be telling them, okay, I died, which means my team is going to have to push, right? If your team doesn't push right there, then these guys, your team's going to start wandering around mid, and they're just going to get picked off by, everybody else. So you don't want to die. You want to make sure that you take your time, try to hear footsteps, try to hear rotate, and try to shoot people in the back. Don't take the 50-55 like I said before. If this Viper is rotating here, don't take the 50-50 and peeker as she runs through, because you don't want that. You don't want to die and give them a free kill. Like I said, people are going to be looking for lurkers. People aren't just going to run knife out half the time, especially in higher ranks. So just be careful of that. Okay, so we got lurking out of the way. Now we're going to go over a different kind of lurk, right? Say, for example, that your team is pushing A, like the same one we discussed right now. But instead, they're going to rotate off. Say they try to get A, one of them dies, and they can't seem to get into the site because these guys are stopping them, right? Say for whatever reason, util, they're getting shot up. There's a possibility that if they see 4 people here, that these guys might begin to rotate, right? So instead of you trying to go for the kill and trying to kill this Viper, for example, because you want your team to take A, instead you take the executive decision to walk into B. And say these guys rotate out, these guys are over here, your team decides to back off and rotate to B, right? But during all the chaos, you walked up onto site and nobody's there. So you called your team, hey, come B, no one's here. I need you guys to come right now, right? So what do you do then, right? Before your team gets there, before your team makes it to B, say they're right here. What do you do as a lurker? You want to try to get a pick, because playing on site is not always the smartest thing to do. And a lot of the times, while people might expect a lurk, they might not expect you to be as far up as you normally are. So if I'm Cypher here, what I would do is I would stand right here. Depending on what gun you have. If you have a Stinger, obviously don't do this. But if you have like a rifle or a Ghost or something, right? You can play right here. And you want your team to come into sight. Now, like I said, why do you want to play so far up? Okay, you're trying to play for that one pick. Say if this Reyna died right here, you want to try to get something that'll give you the advantage, or at least tie up the odds of you winning the round. So say Sky's like, oh shit, maybe they're going B, maybe we got faked out, they're rotating. So he runs over here, he doesn't expect you here, you kill him, and guess what? You guys are 4-4 now. Now, once you get a kill, if you do manage to get a kill, you change up where you play, and you try to play util. You try to play the advantage, you try to play whatever you can to not die, right? It's already 4v4, you don't need to push up anymore, you don't need to do anything else stupid. You can play on site with your friends, and you can use utility to stop the bomb from going off. Or what you could do is you can play somewhere where you can be traded. Say if you play here, for example, on box, right? You have someone main right here, and you have someone backside, and you have someone backside. You can play here and hope that they don't check you. If they do trade you, you can tell your team, hey, peek off me. I'm going to be here. If they peek me and kill me, then this Viper can help me out here, right? So you can play off trades. Say that this Omen rotates through mid. He comes all the way through here and he's here, right? And then you have this chick over here. You have this guy over here. You play at this spot, which is a very tradable spot from people on the bomb site. And you tell the Viper, peek off me. Don't peek before that, right? So you have one guy here, one guy here. These guys are coming in. This guy does decide to check me, right? He clears me. I die. The Viper peeks. I'm dead here. The Viper peeks, trades them out, and you're back to the man advantage. And or what can happen is that he peeks me, I die, right? He's right here trying to peek me. Our Gecko peeks, kills him, he dies, and then you go back to man advantage. So there's a lot of things you can do. You just have to get creative. You have to take what guns you have into account. You got to take what numbers you have on the enemy. If you have a number up on a guy, there's no need for you to peek like that. If you're down a man, you might want to gamble and try to get that one pick to even the odds. So you really got to think about not only what character you are, what guns you have, or what agents are available. Obviously, if somebody dinked a Reyna for 140, don't peek the Reyna, right? You don't want her to overheal. You just have to take all of that into account, and you could get onto site without people noticing that you're there, and you can give your team a free round, or at least a free bomb plant where they can have enough time to set up. Okay, so now we're going to go over our last scenario, which is you get in place to stop a rotate. So say, for example, that your team, again, is pushing the A bomb site. You have 3 people on A, 3 defenders, 1 guy watching Nest, and 1 guy watching B, right? So I work my way up elbow and I will stay right here. These guys are putting pressure on the A bomb site, and the defenders are trying to hold them off, right? So your team's trying to get into A, and they can't, for example, but they give so much pressure that somebody decides to rotate off and help them, right? So somebody rotates off and somebody anchors B. Sometimes if you have the right timing, you have the right mental timing, you can kind of guess where people are going. You can guess who's rotating, or maybe you might even hear who's rotating, right? If you hear this guy that was here, just run it or book it, which you can probably hear, right? Book it to A, then you know that this might be free, right? So you take the time. The more you lurk, the more you'll get this kind of intuition on where people are, right? So you can work your way up, right? Say even if Viper decides to anchor here, she has to watch B main and she has to watch tunnel, right? So you can maybe find a timing. If you can get this far without being seen, then you've pretty much won the round. All you're gonna do is tuck and wait for a rotate. So you can wait right here. See, for example, I would sit right here behind this box, and I would tell my team, hey, you know, I have rotates. Try to catch, you know, try to go to B and see if you can take the fight, right? So your team is gonna rotate to B. They're gonna run it, book it, and even if Viper decides to stay, you're giving your team a 4v1 fight, which is a lot more likely to come out successful rather than them trying to fight the 3 people or 4 people on site if Sky decided to rotate, right? So what you want to do now is, like I said before in the first half, you want to use audio to try to catch people. You don't have to peek. Don't blow your load too early. You want your team to demolish this Viper. Say they enter, right? They'll enter side. They'll kill the Viper with all their util, and they'll be on site planting, right? These guys are going to rotate because once bomb is planted, people they feel the need to rush because they only have about 45 seconds to really like defuse it, right? So these people are going to start fucking hauling it. The Viper's going to call it out. Hey, they're on B. These guys are going to run it. So what you want to do is you want to try to catch the last dude. Okay, don't peek when they're all running, right? If you hear 3 people running this way, don't peek whenever you hear the first guy running. What you want to do is you want to peek when you hear the last person walking by. Okay, but they're most likely not going to shift walk, so just keep an eye out for that, right? So this guy's going to run through, right? This guy's going to run through, this guy's going to come through mid, and this guy's going to run through, right? So they get here. When you hear the last person running, you peek, you kill this person, and then you tuck. You tuck and you relocate because now you are a gamble. You are a threat. Think of it this way, right? Say I were to peek this Reyna, and I kill her, right? So she dies, and I'm thinking to myself, "Holy shit! I just killed Reyna. Let me overheat and let me kill somebody else." Right? So you peek, and then you die. You die to this guy. She peeks you, she kills you, and that's it. And guess what? You are no longer a threat to them. They don't have to worry about their back. The odds of another person lurking are extremely low. So now they have full util, right? Hopefully, and they have full confidence that they can try to retake site and focus only on here. But if you kill the Reyna, right? She dies, and then you tuck. The war that they're fighting is now a 2-front war because they have to worry about site and they also have to worry about you backside. Even if you die 10 seconds from now, even if this Cypher just stays right here and waits for you to come out, and the Sky stays right here and waits for you to come out, you're trapped, right? But you are wasting so much time in a time where the bomb is already planted that you dying is definitely worth the 10 to 15 seconds that you're going to cost them to be able to clear you, right? If they want to get rid of you completely, Sky's going to have to commit to pushing here, and perhaps he's telling the Cypher to pinch you. So they're both going to commit to this and you die, but that's about 10 to 15 seconds down, and then they're going to have to run all the way back to site. If they don't decide to clear you, if they decide to just ignore you, they're going to try to rush on the site as fast as possible because they want to kill the people on site before you have time to flank them again, right? So these people are going to rush, and you're just creating a giant mess for them, right? They're going to have to either rush the bomb site and kill the people as fast as possible, or they're going to have to hunt you down, and they're going to have to do it quick because the bomb is already planted, right? So this is the third scenario. This is probably one of the best scenarios that you can do. If your team cannot take the bomb site that they're originally trying to hit, you being able to block off rotates is super important, and it can actually win you around super easy. But not only that, you begin to condition. Whenever you lurk, you begin to condition the enemy team into not rotating. So say, for example, that you win this round, right? Everything works out, these dudes die, right? What's going to happen now, and this is where the conditioning comes in, right? What's going to happen now is that they're going to have the same setup probably as the first round, right? They're going to have the 3 people on A. So now whenever your team pushes a site, whenever your team pushes anything, right? For example, like this. Whenever your team pushes, the people on the bomb site and the people on B are not going to want to rotate because they know that you lurk. So the people over here that would normally rotate, that you would catch or rotate where in a way where you can find like an opening to lurk again, these people are going to be so conditioned to you lurking that they're not going to want to rotate that fast. So even if these dudes are getting bodied by util or they're getting blinded, these people are going to be hesitant because they're afraid that you're going to be right here, or they're afraid that you're going to work your way into the bomb site, right? So now, whenever your team does decide to take a bomb site, it's going to be so much easier because they're only going to have to deal with the initial people on site. So this would be a best case scenario for the defenders. If Omen decides to watch halls, like these guys are just sitting ducks right here, right? So you want to condition lurk some rounds. Don't lurk every round because you want the enemy team to fear the lurk. You want the enemy team to constantly be worried about you, right? So what I do is, even if I am a lurker, right? Even if I do lurk every other round or whatever, sometimes whenever I attack a bomb site, say we're saving, right? Say these guys are saving the enemy team, and we have guns, right? You don't want to lurk because if you lurk up here and this, Viper gets a lucky kill on you with a classic, she's gonna pick up your Vandal and that changes the whole game, right? So whenever we are buying and they're saving, even when my team goes in, right, I'll set up a Cypher trap here and I'll wait, right? The enemy team is going to be like, hey, we don't see Cypher. We have 4 enemies on the site or planting, but we haven't seen Cypher all game, or we haven't seen Cypher all round. So keep an eye out for that. So these people are going to be even more wary of you, right? Because they haven't called them on. And people will call that out if you've been lurking, by the way. If they don't see you right away, or if if your whole team is on site and these people don't see that you're present, they're going to be like, hey, this guy's not here, he's probably lurking, right? So these guys are going to be extremely worried, and they're going to have to try to retake site, right? But they're going to be constantly looking behind them because they don't want to get lurked on. And some people will lurk super late, so that fear never really goes away. But yeah, that seems to be the basics of lurking. Let me know if you have any questions down below. If you guys want me to cover any other topics, let me know and I'll be sure to do that. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.